video.
These aren't working good. Hello? There's a delay.
Doors locked?
Hey, we're live. We're live.
Yeah, just in.
Oh. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Madison County Board of Education's regular session. Mr. Jones, will you pray for me, sir?
Sure. Lord, thank you for this day, God, for this blessing of these opportunities that you've afforded us, allowed us to be here tonight, God. Lord, we thank you for the all of our educators, our students. God, I pray you'd watch over and keep them safe. Lord, as we go through this business meeting tonight, pray that we conduct ourselves in a respectful manner. Continue to be with each one. Keep us safe. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
How are you? Ready?
Hey,
I'll talk to you about it just a little bit. Just something to look at.
you ready,
Super.
sir?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I recommend approval of the agenda dated July 17th, 2025.
Motion. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do I have any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I recommend approval of the minutes dated June 5, June 12, and July 1, 2025.
Motion. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do I have any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Sir, I know it says district highlights, and we're not quite back in session yet. We're wrapping things up and getting ready for the School Leadership Academy next week. So we'll have all the principals and APs in. It is it's kind of our own little mini conference, and it'll be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And so they're coming. I believe you guys were invited, at least for opening day, to come in and visit.
Tuesday?
Tuesday, right?
I can't make it. I'm out of state.
Okay.
I'll be
And Mr. Jones will be there, and
I'll be there.
Mr. Jones will be there, and
I can't make it either,
okay,
sir.
all right. Well, it should be a good day. We're excited about it. The staff's been working really hard on it. We're gonna have some general sessions and then some breakout sessions, so it should be a good thing. But as far as that, there's a lot of good information gonna be available that day. So I'll turn it over to you all if you know of anything that you guys want to talk about. I mean, we have band and sports are getting situated. They're active and all, and moving forward, this is their play dates and their band camps and everything else are all going on. So
Yeah, the only thing I have is just pretty much normal stuff of everybody getting ready to go back to school and plant managers and everybody getting the campuses looking good and getting some air conditioning units put in and parking lots paved, and there's a lot of good stuff like that going on, but that's pretty much all I've got right now.
Mr. Bird, do you have anything? I want to echo what Mr. Brooks just said. A lot of people think that summer is a time off for educators. In fact, it sometimes can be one of the most busiest times of their lives. Our certified personnel we're putting in overtime hours to get the schools up to speed, particularly the air conditioning units. Our staffs are looking at test scores and trying to figure out how to improve our performance. And that being said, that we have one of the higher performing school systems in the state. Our teachers are privately meeting with each other, sometimes on phone, email, over coffee, breakfast at somebody's house, talking about how they can improve from next year's performance. We have a host of new people that we have coming in who have to come acclimated to the Madison County culture of children first, education always.
Yeah, I'll echo that, everything that they said as well. I want to one of the only things I had kind of written down, and I know Sparkman had really good stats on their AP. I think they were 74 maybe percent passing, everybody, the passing test scores for all the AP stuff that had just come out. Buckhorn's around 72%. So again, want to commend those teachers, administrators, everybody that works in that field of doing that. I know that data will come out for Hazel Green and grow that stuff in time and stuff too. So I just want to say good job for those. And again, got a lot of new people, leadership coming into my district, and I know in others as well. So I want to welcome them and appreciate what Mr. Kubik and the staff's doing there to, I know there was something last week, I forgot the name of it, bringing them in, just kind of keeping them up to speed on all the things that kind of goes behind the scenes here at central office and stuff too. So I think that's a great thing to do there. So commend Mr. Kubik and his staff for doing that. So, but looking forward to a good year.
Yeah, and that's another thing about central office during this time. I mean, we're hiring lots and lots of people. I mean, it's, yeah.
We get it. Jennifer, do you know off the top of your head how many we've hired so far and what we still have?
Probably close to 300.
I didn't want to say several hundred and y'all laugh at me, so several hundred people.
Yeah, at least 300,
Right.
because of the numbers that we've got in the orientations that we're doing.
And we still have quite a few openings.
Unfortunately,
Okay. Okay.
A lot of that has to do with the way our system grew. Our system was a fairly small county system until about 1996, 1995. And then we started growing and growing and growing. We went from having about 8,000 kids to close to 19,000 kids in less than, 6-7 years. You were here, Mr. Kubik. And these people are now retiring after completing 25 or 26 years of excellent service.
That's right. That's all I got, sir. Informational
All right,
items?
So, just so you know, what Mr. Jones was Mr. West Jones was referencing was, we had our induction, which, we brought in all of our principals that have been 3 years or less and spent some time with them, and each of the different departments met with them and went over and had different training sessions over, personnel, what they do, where they could go for assistance, help, and things like that. So it was a really good time well spent with our principals and building them up. Do want to let you know that there is one other big highlight coming up on Monday. That'll be the groundbreaking out at Hazel Green for the new school. So that's scheduled for 8 o'clock in the morning at Hazel Green, the site of the new school, which is just north of the Hazel Green High School campus. And also, Lieutenant Locke, welcome, sir. The lieutenant or captain? Captain, okay. You got a promotion while he was here. That's pretty good. I'll let Sheriff Turner know. No, and welcome, sir. We're glad you're here. So with that, sir, you ready to move on?
Yes, sir.
All right. The first informational item is the Focus Act, 4.09 and 6.0, and those were the policy updates. Ms. Thompson sent you guys some information on that already. This is the new law that has gone into place in reference to cell phone. The cell phone bill basically is what they're calling it. And the Focus actually stands for Alabama's Freeing Our Classrooms of Unnecessary Screens for Safety Act, okay? And so these are the new policy updates. Ms. Thompson sent them all out to you already. I wanted to make sure that I let you know that these have gone to policy review. Ms. Neely, who is our representative, the president for the Support Association, she actually was on the Code of Conduct Committee, so she had a lot of input on this, and they were supportive. Ms. Gardunia, who is the president of the MCEA Association, which is the teachers part, one of her big questions was there was a concern about whether or not the students were going to be able to use their cell phones on the bus, and I assured her that that was not part of ours. We were going to allow them to use the bus, and she said, well, that's great, that settles that, we're good to go. So both the MCEA support and MCEA teachers are on board, and they have seen that, and they have sent it forward. So at this time, I think Ms. Thompson and I are here for any questions that you guys may have on this topic.
So what I proposed was that you completely replace your wireless communication policy with the actual model policy, and your internet technology policy is several pages long, and so instead of having two separate policies, what I proposed was that you incorporate the requirements of the Focus Act within your technology policy that you already have. And so that's how those drafts are presented.
And what Cindy's referencing is 4.9 is actually our internet and safety use of technology. But this is, the replacement piece is 4.94, which is the new part that we added in. And the 6.0, we're actually deleting that policy and just adding the new one, which is
Completely new one.
correct.
That's correct.
One thing I'll mention is just for general knowledge. Sometimes administrators tend to turn a blind eye. Like I said, it's always interesting to see how dress codes are enforced from one school to the next. This act has a survey to be completed by the teachers to see if the act is being followed at the end of the year. And I urge all administrators to make sure they abide by state law as they should.
If there's nothing else on that, sir, we'll go to the next item.
Okay.
All right. The next policy update is for the grading and promotion, 7.3.1 and 7.3.5. You know, we talked a lot about the grading policies. We talked about the ES and Us. And as this went out to policy review, there was some concerns that were raised by both the support staff who had, you know, had teachers reach out to them as well as the teacher staff. And they were shared with Ms. Bass. And some of the feedback from the committee, they met, the staff met, and they came up with some different solutions as to how to treat some of those things. And so the actual policy, what we had talked about was an ES and U for handwriting, art, PE, music, and for, we had in there science and social studies. Well, one of the things, the recommendations was, is that they were not at a point for social studies and science, so they've removed that piece. And they also, there was a lot of confusion about the E with the teachers and all that. So what they're recommending is that we just go with an SN and U for the art, music, PE, and handwriting. And those will be the only places where the SN and U would go. And then the only other piece was where they had discussed, you know, the promotion for our state lined with the Literacy and the Numeracy Act. They don't include the social studies and science as part of that promotion anymore. It's based on the acts. And so they did strike out that language under promotion where they went from reading and language as being individual to an ELA, and then mathematics, and they struck out the science and the social studies. That was for grades 1 through 3. And then they also struck out in grades 4 through 6 the reading and language, and they just changed that to one block of English language arts, the ELA. So those were the changes that they adopted after having the information from the two presidents from their associations and from talking with their staff and coming to a conclusion. So that's where we're at with those policies at
So
this
the
point.
E will still be there in certain subjects, or?
No, the E
shall
won't
they
be
do
there
it?
at all. There won't be an E, but it won't be in subjects. It's gonna be satisfactory, not satisfactory, or unsatisfactory, and it's only gonna be in handwriting, in music, PE, and art. Those will be the only 4 places it'll be. The social studies and science will actually have grades just like they normally would.
That strikes me as very reasonable.
So, and they're going to, when we get this policy approved and passed, and they're gonna get busy with this for the SLA that I talked about. Some of this stuff will be rolled out there, so the principals will know what they're at. So that's the policy update for grading and promotion. Do you have any other questions on that one?
I don't.
All right. Then, gentlemen, I'm gonna turn it over to Dr. Minsky and Ms. Brunsman, and they're gonna talk to you all about something we're looking at, which is a volunteer background screening program. And they have a short presentation for you. Dr. Minsky, it's all yours, sir.
Thank you. So it came up to us recently. Several of our sister systems have a protocol for volunteers, for parents who are going and chaperoning different trips. And we feel like it's important for the safety of our students that we follow suit and do the same thing. For example, what we're looking at, this product, and Ms. Brunsman will kind of share this with you in detail of what it is, but basically it's a background check for anybody who's volunteering, working by themselves with students, or has the opportunity to work by themselves with a student, or if they're going on a field trip that would require them, again, being alone with children or by themselves. we're going to request that they go through this process. There is a cost to the system, which is a small cost, but there is also a cost to the parent. So we'll be working through that particular protocol. The example came up, so I had an opportunity to go to Camp McDowell this year with my son Aiden. It was an overnight, I think we were there 2 or 3 days, and there are times when we have parents that we have not run through a background check, having times when they're going to have to walk a student from the group over to the restroom, or in our case, we stayed in the dorms with several students. So I think for the safety of our school system and for our students that we really need to go this route. Was it Limestone County, Madison City, and Huntsville City also use this product for their volunteers and their chaperones? And it's just something that we wanted to bring forward to you guys as an informational item. So I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Brunsman and let her give you the details.
Real quickly for a gentleman that haven't met Ms. Brunswick yet, she is our personnel manager. So this is Jennifer Brunswick for the.
You see my name a lot.
Bunch of emails. Bunch of emails.
It's the emails.
You one of the few people who live out in Monrovia.
Yes, I do.
I like that.
Okay. Okay, I think this is the clicker, maybe? This is the clicker? Okay, thank you. All right. So B-Checks is the name of the company that we're looking at going with. And like he said, it'll be for school volunteers only. We can't run school volunteers through the State Department like we do for our hires. They do not allow us to do that. Those are only for paid positions. So our coaches' aides and stuff that are paid positions can go through there, but school volunteers cannot. Let me see if I can figure it out. Oh, look, okay. All right. Just a little bit about the company. They're nationally recognized screening with 28 years of experience. They're fully accredited and affiliated with major industry associations. They offer complete, accurate, and FCRA compliant background screening services tailored to meet diverse needs. They're a founding member of the Professional Background Screening Association. I believe one of the guys that actually started that company is the one that works with B-Checks now. They're a fully accredited screening firm just to maintain, standards of integrity, accuracy, and legal compliance. B-Checks is a member of ASPA, SHRM, ASA, NRPA. So they work with several different organizations that, as a school system that we work with as well. They serve over 800 school districts nationwide. And they do a comprehensive background screening that's tailored to educational needs. Some of the clients, they have other clients in Alabama, but I tried to notate some that were around us. And like he said, Huntsville City, Madison City, and Limestone. So the ones that directly surrounding us are already using this system. And then Baldwin, Hoover, St. Clair, some of the bigger ones are also using it as well. The good thing, one of the plus sides to this is that they do offer the rescreening. So I spoke with Mr. Kubik, and we were thinking like a 3-year span is about the time that you would be rescreened every 3 years. And so this company actually sends out alerts to those people that it's time to be rescreened. We don't have to keep up with any of that. So they'll get a 90, 60, and 30-day warning that their screen is needing to be redone. So it just helps us keep track of it without having to manually track it. They use the ID scan technology, so they scan a copy of their driver's license, okay? So that cuts down on human error of them entering their information themselves. So because if you're doing background checks and that sort of thing, and they enter the wrong first name, they enter Joe instead of Joey, it kind of throws it off. So by scanning your ID, then you're scanning your exact name, how it's listed. They can track the status themselves. So once they have applied, they can go and see where they are in the process so that they don't have to call and say, hey, have I been approved to be a volunteer at the school yet? Here's the pricing details. It's relatively low. There's a one-time setup fee for the district, which is $99. And then there is no annual fee, no pre-screening fees, none of that for us after that point. So it's $99 flat. The volunteer cost is $19 per person, okay? And that is paid when you sign up to have it done, and it's paid through credit card. I have spoken with them, and if there are situations where someone at the school cannot afford to pay for the background screening, we do have the option to opt in to allow a payment on file with the system to be paid for that. We have a special link, if that's the case, of what we want to do. So if there's someone that absolutely says, I cannot afford that, but I would really like to volunteer, and the board is okay with that, I'm not sure exactly how that would be funded at this point, but if they're okay with that, then we could pick those costs up for certain individuals in certain circumstances. The standard package includes the National Criminal Background Search, the National Sex Offender Registry Search in real time, the Security Watch List Search, and that is through 30 government agencies. It does an address history trace, and then a 7-year county criminal record search. So they are just based on the counties that they have lived in the last 7 years. That's probably what takes the longest part for them to initialize, because not all counties are digital. So they actually have to go out to the counties to research that paperwork. So that's what takes the longest part, is what I've been told. This is a kind of a breakdown of how they would set it up. So step one, they're going to make us a registration page just for Madison County. The people will go to that registration page to sign up. They will scan their ID. They will e-sign all of their forms, including the release of the background to us. They will enter their information, and then they will submit the payment through credit card. All this can be done on your phone or a computer. If it's on your phone, there's a Q code that you can scan in order to do it. If you're standing at the schools, you'll be able to do it from there. After they submit, once again, they can go into their portal and see where they are in the process of being approved. We actually set the guidelines to what should be approved and what shouldn't be approved if something shows up. So if there's any that are not clear and that are in question, there will be someone here that will make those decisions. I'm not sure if it'll be Dr. Minsky or who. If it's me, that's fine. I just don't know who will do that decision-making at that point. But they allow us to make all those types of the decisions, okay? Once they receive the background check, they can download the mobile app, and they will have a volunteer card that they can show at the schools on their phone. We can also provide lists to the principals or the bookkeepers, whoever the secretary up front, of who all is approved at their school. There is ways we can go off and print it. We can also have each school have their own access to the database showing who is approved at their schools. There's no extra cost either way we do it, but that's options for us. That's all I have on it. If y'all don't have any questions.
Ms. Brunsman?
Sure.
One question. The renewal portion, after that 30 days, once that 30 days is up, does the school or the school district get notified of who is no longer eligible as
Yes,
a volunteer?
so once the 30 days are up, on their mobile app, they will have a red X. So if they go to show it, and also on our database, it would show that they have an expired review.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Our database is not public knowledge. It's just
No, it is
general
not. It would strictly be whoever we give access to at our level.
And so our schools will have a list of up-to-date, a living list.
They can, yes, we
Okay.
can give them a list, or we can give them access, however we decide to do that.
I was saying, like, if one parent had two kids at different schools, like a middle
They
school.
can
and a-
choose different schools, so when
Okay.
they go in to sign up, they can choose to be a volunteer at these two schools or these
Okay.
three schools. So they would have access to both of the
Okay.
children's schools.
It only cost us $99 a year.
$99, period, not a year.
Oh.
One-time setup.
I was about
So
to say,
one-time
I thought
setup
that-
fee. And they do ask that we, keep it for a year, but he made it very clear that, they've never had people want to get rid of it, so they don't really hold you to that. But we do sign a year contract, but there's not a penalty for backing out if we decide not to.
I think it's a good idea.
When I'm sorry. When you're talking about rescanning the volunteers to rescan every 3 years, is that right? Is that, so that $19 that they pay is just every 3 years? Or-
Every 3 years.
Okay, and then one of the slides talked about on the sex offender stuff about it had in parentheses real time. So if they're for a 3-year period, if something happens 3 months later after they become that, and
It should pop up.
it should pop up. Is there anything that we can go through them? I mean, is that should, and I'm not holding you just to your, like, every
Sure.
single word, I understand, but is there anything that we can, for say, every 6 months, hey,
They do an audit of the,
like, are we for sure
So
every?
some of the databases that we've used in the past for that was an actual database that they updated every 6 months, every
Yeah, that's
whatever
what
it
I'm getting
was.
at, is if
Or
something
this
happens.
is live, so if it
Oh,
happens, it goes
okay.
into the database and it comes live.
sir, you
That's-
asking if it was
It's the
flag
same way our
us?
Yes.
strategics does right now too. So
Okay.
our strategics is live information, so when you have parents who come to the school
Okay.
to have lunch or whatever, they
Uh-huh.
scan their driver's license. It does the same thing as far as that piece of it.
Okay.
This just gives us more information for the volunteers.
Gotcha. And then the other, when would we think about rolling this out?
We'd like to get it rolling out here pretty soon if we possibly can. That's kind of the goal, is to get that information to the schools and the principals. Now, again, if you have a parent coming in and they're going to present to a class, they're not doing this. But if they're gonna be a chaperone, if they're working in small groups with students at school, that's when we wanna make sure that they have.
Volunteer and tutors, things like that.
Yes.
I mean, you go on a field trip and there may be a chance where a chaperone has to take a child
Oh,
to the
yeah.
bathroom.
No, I'm 100%
And so
for it.
it's-
I just,
We're trying to be very, very, proactive.
Yeah,
In
absolutely.
preventing things. We talked a lot about like timing, we wish there was a way that we could do it like it's, you know, while you're in this school, it's good for this school.
Yeah.
But the problem is we have so many different levels of how long we're in a particular school across
Right.
the district. So we decided 3 years was probably the best, because most of the time you're gonna transfer over to another school within a 3-year period. And like, you know, Brian, and Mr. Brooks said, you know, this goes for what, once you do one, you're good for all the schools your kids are in.
is that, are we gonna limit it to where it is kind of kid specific of, say, which I know it's and I'm just asking questions as they come to my mind. If, say, somebody wants to be a volunteer, but they may not have children at a
Well,
school.
They would go through this, See, like Friends of Newmarket,
Right.
they're in the schools, those individuals, we would ask them to go through this
Or the,
particular
you know,
process.
or the caring link or something, they would have, just have access to every school that we allow them to, or whoever, you know,
Yes.
y'all make that decision. Right, okay.
One of the associations you saw in there was ASPA. ASPA is the class extension for personnel. It's the Alabama Association of School Personnel Administrators. So you can see that they're already recognized. So that's the state affiliate for all personnel, directors, or, you know, across the state, all the districts. This company is recognized with that organization already as a outstanding product, so.
Is this something, they're bringing this to us, is this something that we need to vote on for, or is this, okay, it's just an information item?
Right.
Okay.
This is, and when Jennifer and Mark and I were all talking about it, what I said is, I want us to bring this to the board, to let the board know, this is one of the steps we're taking as far as our plans to increase safety and for our kids. But we wanted you guys to know, so that way, you're not out there and say, Mr. Jones, I just got a call from a parent that says that, you know, they're charging me $19 to go on a chaperone with
Right.
a kid.
And that was the last thing I was gonna bring up, and I'm sure y'all, the cabinet stuff, and Ms. Cantrell, somehow letting her put
Yeah.
something out
Yeah.
there ahead of time to just make them aware, so we don't, you know, get that.
Absolutely.
Good.
And we're going to talk about it at SLA with all the principals
I like
next
it. I think
week,
it's
so.
great.
All right. That was it. Thank you both.
Thank y'all.
So that's it for the informational items. We're ready to go.
Administrative items?
Yes, sir. So, Captain Locke is here if there is any questions when we get to the, SRO MOU. But my first recommendation this evening is approval of the 2025-2026 Madison County Sheriff's Office SRO MOU as submitted.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do I have any discussion? All those in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Thank you, sir.
That was easy enough, wasn't it? Did you want to say something?
No, I think you'll have all the information, but I'll be happy to answer any questions you have.
No, let me personally, I'm not gonna speak on behalf of the board, but I think everybody agrees with me. We appreciate everything that y'all do. And, y'all are a blessing to the school system, and I personally thank you.
Thank
So,
you. We
whatever-
appreciate it. They
everything
do a
y'all
very
do.
good job.
Yep.
We appreciate it.
Yep, thank you.
Our district and the Madison County Sheriff's Office has a fantastic relationship.
Right.
and We value them, and we appreciate everything they do, and those are excellent words, Mr. Brooks. Appreciate you
Yep.
saying that.
Thank
Captain,
you.
Thank you, sir.
We appreciate you.
Thank you, sir.
I recommend approve the updated MCSS Internet Safety Policy 4.9 and the Wireless Communication Policy 6.08 as submitted.
Motion.
4.0.
Second.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do I have any discussion? This is what we just discussed in the information models, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I recommend approve the updated MCSS Grading Policy 7.3.1 and Promotion Policy 7.3.5 as submitted.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do I have any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I recommend approve the bid renewals as submitted.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do I have any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I recommend approve the contracts for services as submitted.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do I have any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I recommend approval of the personnel items and the addendum as submitted.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do I have any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I recommend approval of the chief of staff probationary contract as submitted.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do I have any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Mr. Brooks, can we take a pause here for a
Take a
second?
pause.
Mr. Trewick, congratulations, sir. Welcome to the chief of staff position. Is there anything you'd like to say?
That's why you're here. Congratulations. Yeah. Got you. Appreciate you, sir.
I recommend approval of the assistant principal probationary contracts as submitted.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do I have any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I recommend approval of the team's contracts as submitted.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do I have any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I recommend approval of the supplemental contracts as submitted.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do I have any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. And that concludes our meeting. So before I take a motion to adjourn, anybody have anything for the good of the board?
Ken, you want to talk about that? You'll be in Monrovia until.
Oh, okay. Mr. Bird was asking me about, just to kind of let everyone know, kind of a transition period. Now that Mr. Trewick is our new chief of staff, he's going to be kind of doing double duties for a little while. Hillary, sorry, he's going to be busy. We really want to get the schools open, and, you know, we're going to post his position at Monrovia Middle School tomorrow, and so it'll run for 2 weeks. So it's going to be the 1st of August before we'll actually be able to set up interview. And that first week, we're going to be out at schools the whole week, so we won't even get to really the interview pool until the second week in August. So we want to really get their schools set up and running. So I've talked with Keith, and we're pretty much, he's going to be running the COS position out of Monrovia Middle, probably through the month of August for the most part, because it'll be, you know, by the time we bring a recommendation to you all, and we, you know, the domino effect. So just to kind of give you guys an idea what the transition period is. So it's important that we're we've got the schools covered. That's the priority right now.
Right.
And so, and he knows that's where his priority is right now, and then he'll have plenty of time to get busy with the chief of staff position after that. But I just want to kind of give you a heads up of how that's gonna lay out.
Makes sense to me.
Anybody have anything else? I need a motion to adjourn. I have a motion.
Second.
I got a second. All those in favor? We are adjourned.
Dr. Minsky, we're gonna send Ms. Bass and Mr. Perkins down to Mega more often because these gentlemen get busy when they're not here.